Warren finally speaks. Blame for Nolan's death. Nolan is a best friend and a brother. A sit down with Brandon Tatum. And you have to wonder, what kind of mind looks at this particular case and says to himself, let me go further to absolve those that have already been granted de facto innocence. Shout out to all the subscribers and the members here on the channel. Don't forget to like the video, and salute to everybody who supported us over at thepeoplesgetup.com. My name is Reese Waters, and I'm troubled.
He often told us that one day he wanted to have 3 daughters that he would name Sophia, Charlotte, and Olivia. He had a deep love for the Lord and an unwavering faith that was evident in the way he lived his life. Lastly, I ask that each of you keep Nolan's memory alive. Hold him close in your hearts. Share his stories and never stop saying his name. As long as we continue to remember him, his light will continue to shine through us all. Nolan, we love you. We'll continue to fight for you. Yes. And until we meet again. And thank you all for coming. Thank you.
You want it to be the best. So I poured all my...
Well, that certainly magnifies those troubles now, doesn't it?
This Nolan will
to the world.
Nolan for his own death.
Nolan Wells was on a boat. He left from a private dock area in the Ocean Springs area and proceeded with his friends to Horn Island.
Wells was visiting the barrier island 10 miles from the Gulf Coast, boating with friends, last seen about 3 p.m. Saturday.
They left and went back without Nolan. From what we understand, he chose to stay there.
And so I know that the word gaslighting is used and not always in the right way, but this is 10 miles off the coast on a barrier island with his friends who came back. He didn't. They had his phone. They're saying that he chose to stay. Was he supposed to swim? He had no way to call him. They left him for dead. But you have a law enforcement official saying, from what they understand, he chose to stay. He's not saying, from what we've been able to determine, what we've been able to confirm and verify, he's saying from what we understand. He understands that because that's what they were told.
Yeah, they're saying that that I guess some cop went on there and he's basically trying to soften it up to sound like it wasn't a racial, or it was not what y'all seen it to be, one black person with a bunch of white folks and he dies. So he's like, no, he asked to go on a boat and they went on a boat too with a group of guys, and then they left back 10 miles off to an island, then left, and he said he wanted to stay.
No, that's what they've been saying from the beginning. I'm like,
yeah, but
that don't make sense.
Yeah, that don't make no sense. Why are you gonna leave him there? And then they had his phone too. They took his phone with them. They took their phone with him. Like, well, how was he supposed to call y'all to tell y'all to pick him up?
Well, that would be the reason to take.
No, y'all left him there. Took his phone. The hazing. And he died out there. You know, leave him on the thing, and he probably thought y'all did some white people shit. He's like, oh, they doing some racist shit. And he just said, fuck it, I'm gonna start swimming and drown. Cause why he would go and swim in the water if he knew they were gonna come back for him? Hey, I don't know, white folks. That shit sound like the way it's always been.
Why is he repeating what they were told from the friends who left this man to die?
Yeah, that don't make no sense.
Why is he repeating that on national?
I get, like, hey, he's out of school with a bunch of white folks, and he's gonna go to an island and hang out with them. He decide he wants to stay, but how are you gonna stay there with no phone? That don't make no sense. And then how did y'all even let him stay? I won't even let him stay. If he's my homeboy, I'm not gonna let you stay by yourself. We on an island. We on an island. No way, bro. Come on, you going? If we're gonna have to lose our friendship, I'm gonna grab your bitch ass and I'm gonna throw you in that boat, bro. You see what I'm saying? Because I'm not about to be sitting here, leaving and then thinking that and then that's gonna come back on me. But see, that's how I think. And white folks don't think like that. They're like, hey, they ain't gonna fall on us. Watch. How you gonna take his phone? And that sounds like a hazing to me. And I guess a hazing. You know what I'm saying? No, it was racial.
Y'all try to.
Yeah.
At the very least, y'all get in trouble for hazing.
Yeah, but it wasn't that because he ended up trying to swim in or drown, right? So no, now that's murder.
National television.
Yep,
Then why
I
is a
believe it.
news organization that has multiple layers of producers as well as a legal and standards department allowing this to be broadcast without pushing back? I didn't even hear the word
You got a career
suspicious
going on
in
in
the
the future
piece.
to
And I
football.
am a black mother who is at my wit's end with how this country continues to gaslight us and then expects us to stay silent. Because
girl,
this
it's
is
not
not
happening.
normal. The reporter can only push back so much. So this is
don't like
not
how the
about the
country's
reporter.
gaslighting.
It's about
No,
the
no, girl.
organizations
It's
that
not happening.
handpick the
There's no
black
more of this.
faces that then go out
You
and
forgot,
report
remember?
these stories that are
Remember, you forgot, you got
gaslighting
that
to
good
the
job,
American
remember?
public.
There's no more
This is
racism.
problematic.
Remember?
So this
You got
is how
that
I
job.
can help by speaking up to say, hey, let's look at this critically. Let's look through a media literacy standpoint. Let's look at the information that's being presented. Let's consider why it's being presented this way, who it's coming from, what's being left out, what questions are not being answered, what questions aren't being asked. This is not okay. This is not how this story should be being reported out. This is the impact of seeing black and brown journalists systemically laid off, fired, not renewed. Please tag some of your favorite independent journalists below, especially independent black and brown journalists. And share this video. I'm Janae Norman.
He said,
I used
please
to do the
tag
news.
your
Now I just report
brown or black what you call it because this is like why the news. This is why we're not making it in like these corporations because we're like we're asking those questions instead of them asking why they take his phone. Why they ain't gonna say that because they're white. You see what I'm saying? But we ask those questions, so that's why we don't keep these jobs. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's what she was saying. So she said, go and tag your black, brown reporter, independent reporter, and tag them. And I'm like, okay, and what?
Yeah.
And then what? Then they're like, all that shit has to go, bro. Yeah, tag your get the browns and the blacks, get them to get some insights and get the media, get their business going too. But you talking about them taking the business and then doing what with their business? We're still doing the same thing.
In this sense of like
To get the news out there?
Use the media.
Yeah, okay.
The black, because Dick Gregory talks about that.
Yeah, okay.
He's like, y'all are over here.
Okay, I thought she was. Yeah, okay.
You're not gonna report the shit.
Yeah.
The ones who let the shit get out and report the real stories.
the independents.
Who are in the community.
Yeah.
That's the black reporters and media, radio.
No, I get that part, but I felt like she was like, support your black-owned businesses, and I think she was doing that. What you're saying, I think she was like, tag them because they'll get that information out there. So it was that. So I thought she was going into support that so we can get in these businesses and we need to get up there. You see.
the facts and uncomfortable
getting up there. I
truths.
think we need to get
Nolan
out.
Wells deserves justice and not to be blamed in the mainstream media for his own death.
But the one thing that gives me a little bit of pause, that gives me just the tiniest bit of hope, is that this blatant double standard, this clear dearth of media literacy is being seen from both sides.
Nolan Wells drowned. Why are people so quick to blame his friends?
His white friends left him alone on an island 12 miles off the coast without his phone.
The sheriff said he chose to stay. It's a tragedy, not a crime.
They left and went back without Nolan. From what we understand, he chose to stay there.
Yeah, that's called shifting blame onto the victim.
Come on, the sheriff investigated.
Before the autopsy results came back, and there's a viral video of a heated argument on the island that day that authorities are now actively investigating.
People argue at parties all the time.
Listen, if 3 black boys left a white boy alone on an island without his phone and he turned up dead, would the sheriff be going on Good Morning America blaming the victim?
That's...
Black people make up 35% of missing persons cases in the FBI database and receive only 7 to 11% of media coverage. This story only went national because the internet demanded it.
So the system isn't just failing Nolan.
It's working exactly as designed.
Say his name.
Nolan Xavier Wells.
Nolan Xavier Wells.
And shout out to Jess Craven for that one. The system is working exactly as designed. The system is working exactly as designed. Now, that would have ramifications not just for the investigation, but that would have ramifications for the media coverage as well, now, wouldn't it? Because how else could you explain this? Warren finally speaks. Blame for Nolan's death. Nolan is a best friend and a brother. A sit down with Brandon Tatum. And you have to wonder, what kind of mind looks at this particular case and says to himself, let me go further to absolve those that have already been granted de facto innocence.
Hey, Officer Hatem, good to see you. You too. Fine day. Perfect for the river. These buttered biscuits are something else. So good.
I didn't see that coming. I didn't see that coming, but I saw he went straight for those biscuits, though. He most certainly did. Brandon Tatum always does.
Nolan, I could describe Nolan in a million ways. I mean, Nolan was not just a best friend of me, but he was a brother. I grew up through elementary, middle school, high school, and even our freshman year of college. You know, we talked on the phone all the time. We were really close friends. And, I mean, Nolan was like a brother to me. And Nolan lit up every room he walked in. He always had a smile on his face. He always had something good to say. I've never seen Nolan get in an argument with somebody and say bad things about someone. You know, there's a lot of people that talk crap nowadays, and Nolan was never that person. Sweetest soul ever. And I mean, I had a great relationship with Nolan. I've never got in an argument with Nolan. We were super close, and I've never said or will ever have anything bad to say about Nolan Wells.
Yeah, and you guys, you said you kind of grew up together. Mm-hmm. Did you know his mom, or how was that? Because I saw in the media where it appears that she may have said, at least I saw in part, that she said as if she didn't know any of you guys.
Right. Well, Nolan, a lot of the times was at like my house and at my buddy's house. We never went to Nolan's house and hung out.
I thought you were best friends.
That's interesting. Yeah. That was your gotcha question.
Yeah. That was his quote unquote best friend and shit. And he was talking about how close they were and shit like that. And then he was like, the interviewer asked him, he's like, yeah, but why did the mom act like she didn't know you? He's like, oh, because he always came to my house. We never went to his house. Oh, see, I never went to his house, but y'all his friend? You know how many times my friends came to my house and my mom didn't want them there? You full of shit, bro. It's fishy. Government official agents.
That was your gotcha question, that the mom said she didn't know them. And what did he say? Oh, she's right. She's right. But I'm supposed to understand that they're best friends, though, right? That's the level that he's operating at. That is 1,000% the level that he's operating at.
You and your friends were just out there celebrating the 4th, right? Nothing unusual happened? Yeah, that's right. He was my best friend, man. We were always together. You were close. Did you ever visit his house? No, never. I never met his parents either. I see. What about his family? He never mentioned them.
Man, I look at the news and I think to myself, yeah, these high prices are here to stay. Gas, groceries, insurance, and if you're a homeowner, I thought to myself, should I just call American Financing, refinance, and pay off this credit card debt? But then you second guess yourself, because that mortgage rate you got is low, 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 low. Listen, that low rate, it's not saving you if you're drowning in credit card debt at 25% or more. That's math nobody wants to face, but it's costing you thousands. And here's the truth. If you're only making minimum payments, that debt could follow you for years. That's why people are calling American Financing, because they're saving customers an average of $800 a month by using their equity to finally break free from credit card debt. You owe it to your family to see what's possible. No upfront fees, no pressure. It costs you.
He's advertising loans. That is the worst thing to do, is get loans. Save up your money, buy it cash. If you have to, yes, use loans, but like to advertise loans, who you're advertising to. Yeah, see? Yeah. Trash.
Nothing to find out what you could say.
I asked her if she had heard from Nolan. She said no. And I said, all right, well, don't freak out. I'm going to call the Coast Guard. And this was at about 11 o'clock.
Nolan's best friend says the moment nobody could account for Nolan, he started making calls. After speaking with Nolan's mother and confirming she hadn't heard from him, he says he contacted the Coast Guard. Brandon Tatum, Would that be this call right here?
CTO Assistance, Vicky speaking. How can I help you?
Hey, we're at the west tip of Horn, and our village pump stopped working. We're sinking. Can you all please come? We have a membership.
All right, of course. How far is the water coming up, sir? Can you give me a description? Ankles?
Audio call from Nolan Wells' friend. Nolan arrived at Horn Island on the same boat with the same group that morning. Later that day, the boat took on water, this time without him, and his friend sounds panicked, struggling to answer dispatcher's questions. We're sinking. Can you all please come? That from Lee Merritt. You know, the kinds of people that you have made a point to cast aspersions at during this whole investigation, Brandon Tatum, but I don't want to get ahead of myself. I will challenge Lee Merritt. He don't really sound that panicked to me. I don't know about y'all. He don't really. That didn't sound like for them. But you know what? I haven't been in that situation. There have been a ton of reports about muffled sounds and phrases that can be heard in the background. I'm just going to leave that for the linguistic experts, you know, of which Brandon Tatum is not.
Quit making black people use words that we never used in the history of black humanity. No one uses ghosts. If y'all said some hood words, they'd have had it all figured out. Why y'all playing with them like that? Don't do my people like that, all right? Nobody used silhouette, and nobody used gosh, whatever that word is.
Internalized self-hate for his people manifests as an unconscious and conscious adoption of white people's racist belief system against blacks. This led him to view his own people through a negative lens while seeking validation from white people. Oh, Brandon Tatum, you mean? Huh. I wonder why she would come to that conclusion. Maybe because he has not seen a case involving black folk where he has not made them at fault. Not one time.
Whack.
And certainly the authorities have de facto weighed in by virtue of slow walking this investigation, which we know would not be the case if the shoe were on the other foot. But somehow he feels like his voice is necessary to reinforce an already existing double standard.
So recently, Brandon Tatum has chosen to post me on his story and call me a nappy-headed fool. Hold on, I have evidence. Here we go. This was his statement on his story. She sounds really stupid or whatever it says, right? Now, in my original video that I made to him, I pointed out a question that why are you not speaking on the white issues that is going on if you love white people so much? If you love white people and if you don't like your own people, why do you talk about us? Why do you post us on your page? You should be talking about the trauma and the pain that is going on between the white community. Why are the men so obsessed with little children? Can you talk about that? Since you don't want to be black, you don't like us, you don't like the women, why do you post us? Talk about what white people are going through.
Oh, very well said, sister. And I can answer that question. The reason why he feels the need to post us, despite what we already know the stance is going to be regarding us, no matter what side of a case we end up on. The favorite one for me would be when he had on the Karen that got confused and was in the brother's house, was just in his yard. And he was the wrong one for wondering why there was a strange white lady in his yard. He was the wrong. I told you, what is it worth? What is his opinion worth when you already know? That's what I don't understand. It's worth a platform for racists to feel perfectly free to let loose of all of their pent-up anti-blackness. That is his role. That is the system working as intended.
He's right, you know.
Wish someone told me, living this life would be lonely.
Secret Service Sam here with...
He's right, you know.
Wish someone told me, living this life would be lonely.
Secret Service Sam here.
Living this life would be lonely.
Secret Service Sam here with a message about people like Officer Tatum, the Hodge twins, black men who make money off white fragility. And you have to understand, they are just using black atrocities to make money and to appeal to the MAGAs, the Fox crowd, the white racist people who love to hang on to one black man willing to validate all of their racist views. And that is exactly what Officer Tatum does. He is literally the definition of a race baiter. That's the irony, is he calls everybody else a race baiter, makes it about race, but you have to understand, when you are in the minority, we don't see anybody white in his comments. Go look at Officer Tatum, go look at the Hodge twins, go look at any of these corny ass content creators who played a white racist, and show me more than one black person in their comments. I challenge you to find that on any one of their videos, on any one of their posts. And they're always the first to say, let's not make this about race, because that comforts white racist people. And then they get a huge crowd because of the way they're willing to speak, because it's not a majority of black people who think like that at all. Most black people in America can acknowledge and understand from their own experience how racist our justice system is and America is. For the reason that you never see a white woman being pulled out of her car and slammed to the ground. For the reason you don't see white women get followed around shopping mall stores because they're being accused of stealing. It's all there, but these sell out your souls, black men, content creators. I'm sure there's women too. Candace Owens used to do that before she got on a different lane. But they're all the same. And all you white racist people need to notice, ask yourself, why is it only white people in the comment section, right? If this black man telling you about these things, why aren't other black people agreeing with it? Ask yourself that. And Officer Tatum and the Hodge twins and anybody else.
It's the clicks, the speaking gigs, and the book.
Sharpton eulogizing and announcing that there's a $100,000 reward. When you see that Tyler Perry agreed to pay for the funeral and put up half of the reward. When you see guys like Spike Lee and Terrell Owens in attendance, and Terrell Owens, I think, dedicated $25,000, if I remember correctly, according to the reports that I've read. And you see Benjamin Crump in attendance, and you're talking about civil rights lawyers being in attendance, like you just pointed out. My question to you, Officer Tatum, and Charles, you can follow up based on the answer that he provides. My question to you is, why do you think the parents decided to go that route, Officer Tatum, based on your investigation in terms of allowing all of those folks to be so intimately involved in this situation? What are your thoughts about that? What comes to your mind, particularly based on your investigation,
like,
talking to the actual parties supposedly involved?
Seems like with all the investigation, I don't know, it's still too much, but with all the investigation that they did finally, that they come to whatever that conclusion was, and the parents are like, nah, fuck that, because of what all the information they got themselves to, they're like, that still sounds fishy. So we're just gonna go ahead and put up a award. So Tyler Perry's putting up half for the funeral and half for the award. I think half, I forgot how much they said, like $500,000, I don't know. They trying to get one of the white boys to speak out. Trying to get one of them to say something about like what really happened over there. Ooh, you talking about rich white boys?
Get into it.
No, I'm just saying. You talking about rich white boys? They're gonna be like, that's not enough.
Yeah.
You talking about?
You gotta go up on that.
Yeah, you gotta go up on that, bro. You talking about I gotta be somewheres and anonymously, cause.
And that's gonna expose a lot. Because
Yeah.
To get that information.
Yep.
Granted, they should just be giving it, but if you're gonna put up money for them to talk,
Yeah.
are you willing to go? All right, 50. Let's go 200.
Yeah. I think it's like 200 or something. I don't know how much it was, but it's up in the hundreds.
Okay.
It's up in the hundreds. $500,000, he said. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken.
That's what he offered for them to speak.
I think he put half. No, I'm talking about Tyler Perry. He put 50. No, $100,000 reward. So he put up 50,000. He's gonna put up half for the reward, and he's putting up half for the. I think half are paying all of the funeral costs.
Involved.
There's
So they're asking what's his name right here that's over there fucking we were riding on the fucking in the house and shit. They're asking him because he's the one that's been oh, they didn't, it's not that, it's not racist, it's not, you know what I'm saying? So he's been getting a lot of shit. I guess they put him in the front lines to take all that shit, you know what I'm saying? So Stephen A. Smith is asking him, like, how does he feel that even though y'all said all this, the parents are still going through with saying, no, we need more information, we'll pay $100,000 for it. So basically, they don't trust the system and they don't believe what y'all saying. So they don't believe what you're saying, and you're part of the black community. So I don't know what's gonna happen. You hear what he says?
Thoughts that come to my mind. One is that Al Sharpton and Benjamin Crump are manipulating this family's trauma in order for them to make a crap ton of money. That's one.
Oh, okay. I got you. So that was only for you to do. That was only for you to do, to jump in when there was a black trauma and manipulate it for the racist white folks. So that's why, okay, you don't want them infringing on your turf. I got you.
The second one is the parents trying to cash in on this because, and this is the reason why I say this.
Damn.
Why did Nolan Wells' mama say, I don't know these kids? These boys showed me pictures and video and text of them staying over his house, or at least the young boy Tristan, staying over his house multiple times. She went to school with one of the other boys' mama, graduated high school with her. They showed me the yearbook. Why is she saying this? Why Al Sharpton don't know this boy?
You mean the same boy that said we would never go over his house? Is that it? That's the same boy? Huh.
Yeah. Oh, this dude's full of shit.
That's interesting.
Dog. He said, right here, look, he's over here expressing that the mother is lying about saying that she didn't see those boys. She don't know who those boys are. He's like, that's a lie. He said the other boys showed me pictures on their phone of them being at her house and at their, staying over, spending the night at her house. They have photos. The mother is friends with one of the kids' mother, not friends, but knows the kid's mother because they went to school together. And she's saying she don't know them, and he's saying they're trying to get money out of it too and shit. And but what was I saying? But you're gonna sit there and say this, right? Like, oh, they have pictures. This dude had a picture. This dude had a picture. But the other friend, the best friend, said he's never been at that house. He's never been at that house. So how's the best friend not at the house? And you're talking about the other ones got pictures and stuff.
Staying over his house multiple times. She went to school with one of the other boys' mama, graduated high school with her. They showed me the yearbook. Why is she saying this? Why Al Sharpton don't know this boy?
You mean the same boy that said we would never go over his house? Is that it? That's the same boy? Huh. That's interesting. That was right on your platform.
Know this boy.
The lie detector test determined that was a lie.
Why is he eulogizing him at his funeral? Ain't never met Nolan a day in his life. You know, why are they saying we're going to give $100,000 to somebody who give us information to lead to an arrest? What if Nolan drowned? They don't care about him drowning. You know, and then also, why we don't do this for any other young men who have lost their lives at the hands of other people other than white people?
And there you have it. So you have more energy for how his funeral was conducted than making sure you ask tough questions of all the people involved surrounding his.
Why we coming together? Charles, I'm going to give you the floor, Charles. Charles, I'm going to give you the floor in a second. But Officer Tatum, it's one thing I want to make sure that I give you an opportunity to clarify, because it's one thing to feel what you feel about Benjamin Crump, Reverend Al Sharpton, etc. It's another thing entirely to lump the parents who just lost their child.
But I know it's sensitive.
Talking about they're trying to profit.
I know
it's
sensitive.
You sure you want to say that? That's what I'm saying. You sure you want to say that?
Let me be clear about this. You asked me what my thoughts were. I didn't say that was facts. I just said these are my thoughts based on a few factors, right?
Okay.
There ain't no reason for Al Sharpton to be doing that boy's eulogy when Al never knew him.
That's not even your call or your business.
But what I'm saying is that if I die, my daddy, if I die,
that's you. Respect the choices that family made.
Let him speak.
If I get killed,
that family had a choice.
Why?
And who it is that? Why is that? They don't have to answer to you. That's not.
They
even
don't.
business.
But I have an opinion.
That's that family.
Okay.
I don't even understand why that family chose to eulogize their fallen son.
What is
any of your business to have any commentary about.
Well, you can't tell me that because it don't seem normal. It don't seem normal to me.
Anyone they wanted to.
It don't seem normal. It don't seem normal to me for a man that don't even preach sermons to do a eulogy for a boy that he didn't know.
What's that? To have a funeral where anybody black would bother to show up and speak? Would think fondly of you? It wouldn't seem normal to you. That checks.
Yeah, right. So let me address the optics issue here first, which is weird for a white guy to say this to a black man, but there are people in the black community who are going to say, I can't believe you had that Brandon Tatum on. He's not a real black guy. He attacks the black cause. It doesn't matter that he's black. He's worse than a white racist. What do you make of that allegation, and why do you think it's out there?
Well, Chris, thank you so much. And I'll say this, man, we're all Americans at the end of the day, so I don't take any offense of you using your freedom of speech and your commentary to come up with these things or make your point. I think it's laughable. I mean, for somebody to say, I don't like the black community because I'm willing to find both sides of the story to get to what happened to Nolan Wells, I mean, people should be ashamed of themselves for even framing me like that. But the problem is many people want this country to stay divided. They want us to stay in a sense of fight or flight mode, and that racism is the main focus, and that's the main contributor to black success or failure in this country. And it's just not the case. Most people are not worried about race. I'm sure you and I couldn't care less what color somebody's skin is. Are you a good person or are you not a good person? And some things that I found out after going to Mississippi and talking to a whole slew of people is that in this situation, it does not appear that race was a factor. A young man lost his life, and I think that's what we need to focus on, and we need to focus on finding out how he lost his life.
Ah, that's right. Both sides of the story. Now, that's interesting because the police officers have had to be pressed by this story going viral to even fully investigate Nolan's side of things. Their side has been made quite clear. Connections to the judiciary, etc. Their side has been made quite clear. But you feel the need to explore both sides. So clearly that doesn't have to do with the accused or the defense. Clearly that doesn't have to do with guilt or innocence. That just has to do with white and black now, doesn't it? We want to make sure we explore that side, no matter what the facts are. And to your point, Chris Cuomo, let the comments do the talking.
I'm about to let the dragon out. Y'all really gonna make me unleash the dragon. I know you don't really want to unleash the dragon.
Having any parents reach out to her regarding her missing son. Warren Hudson's stepmom, Ashley Cole, exclusively shares new text message revealing she reached out to Nolan's mother prior to Nolan's mother claiming nobody reached out. Nolan's mother later corrected herself on CNN. It's crazy you're being so contradictory about this grieving mother compared to the grieving widow, Erica Kirk, who consistently is caught lying. I think it's a race thing for you. That's right. Consistent. And it's never cleaned up, is it? It's never cleaned up. You know, not unless Candace Owens comes with receipts and then they have no choice. That's the only time.
When Nolan's parents heard the sheriff say there's no foul play at the beginning of the investigation, that is cause for concern.
Hell yeah.
Major concern. You haven't even investigated.
They ain't even started the
but you're
investigation.
saying no foul play.
The independent autopsy that Nolan Wells' family commissioned with the help of Colin Kaepernick was released today by civil rights attorney Ben Crump. Crump says the findings are inconclusive and the manner of death remains undetermined. But the findings for the autopsy say there was a soft tissue discoloration on the back of Wells' head. It's not clear what caused the discoloration, whether it had anything to do with Wells' death. The anterior inner neck structures were not received with the body. It's a common forensic pathology practice to retain anterior neck structures during an initial autopsy. And they are still waiting a toxicology report Those findings might come from the state a little later on. All this information leaves a lot of questions for a family that would like a timeline from investigators and an official autopsy.
Any parent that would be in this situation, you would do anything to find out what happened to your child. And that is what we're here to do.
So remember, Brandon Tatum, where you talked about how your whole point is to explore both sides. We want to make sure that we explore both sides. Like the governor coming out and calling the attorney for the family a liar, saying not the first time he's lied about Mississippi and it probably won't be the last. And then goes on to blame Benjamin Crump and Al Sharpton for stoking division for personal gain. Now, would this happen to be the same Tate Reeves that cheered as the students at Ole Miss were racially abusing one of their...
Yo, what's good? We're back with another one.
It's showtime.
Nazi scientists, engineers, and doctors into America. One of them was Werner von Braun, the SS officer who designed Hitler's V-2 rocket and had them built by concentration camp prisoners, where 20,000 of them died in the process. And if you wanted to be more conflicted, he designed the Saturn V rocket that made Operation...
Duh.
If you weren't aware, the 5 most horrifying government cover-ups are now declassified. By the way, no one went to prison for any of these. Number 5 is Operation Paperclip. Between 1945 and 1959, the US secretly brought over 1,600 Nazi scientists, engineers, and doctors into America. One of them was Werner von Braun, the SS officer who designed Hitler's V-2 rocket and had them built by concentration camp prisoners, where 20,000 of them died in the process. And if you wanted to be more conflicted, he designed the Saturn V rocket that made the moon landing possible.
Never happened, bro.
Number 4 is Operation Northwoods. General Lyman Lemnitzer handed the Defense Secretary a signed Pentagon memo. It proposed that the CIA commit terrorist attacks on American cities, say that Cuba did it, so that they can then invade Cuba. It proposed bombing Miami and Washington, shooting down a US Air Force plane over Cuba. JFK looked at this proposal, thought about it for 3 days, and then said, nah, but you know what? You should go run NATO.
Makes you wonder what else they've got away with.
Oh shit.
A lot, bro.
Fucking which part, I guess there's been some forms that have been released in the government or whatever that people can check out now. You know, classify paperwork and shit. That, you know, basically, you know, these guys did their crime, but they're not gonna pay for it. So now it can be released. Here's the whatever. But apparently some dude told JFK that, hey, we should do some terroristic you know, tactics to our own country. So, which they got this in movies. They got it in, what is it called? Swordfish. If y'all watch Swordfish, man, that's a good movie with Halle Berry. Yeah, I mean, it's in Swordfish. They got it out there. Well, they the dude, you know, he's talking to the president. This is the, I'm going to say he's the general, the whatever. So he tells him, hey, why don't we go ahead and, you know, start a war with Cuba by, you know, doing terroristic things to our own country, so we can have reasons to, you know, set it off. And he's like, he said that JFK had the paperwork on the desk to sign. You know, JFK just had the paperwork, thought about it, and was like, nah, but go ahead and run NATO. And NATO is a big thing too. So it's like, you took that guy's ideas and said, no, we're not doing that, but go ahead and run this shit over here, which is, it's a big thing too, NATO. Yeah. Yeah. You heard of NATO?
Yeah, I remember I was telling you I was listening to that dude on the economics.
Yeah.
He was talking about how Europe needs to stop associating themselves and let NATO speak for them for everything. Because NATO is just making claims to being in partnership with Europe, but they're just attaching themselves onto it so they can use Europe's name and brand as a reason to go and run amok across other countries.
Yeah, okay.
They got like some fake security bullshit. They're so unsecure.
Yeah.
They're trying to sell to people to
Get their information, really.
to adopt their foreign policy.
Yeah.
Like, oh, do your foreign policy like we do our foreign policies, or America's foreign policies.
Yeah, okay.
Number 3, the Guatemala syphilis experiments. Between 1946 and 1948, the ironically named U.S. Public Health Service sent a doctor named John Cutler to Guatemala to deliberately infect 1,308 people with syphilis, gonorrhea, and chancroid without their consent. But it gets worse. And even children, the youngest recorded subject was 10 years old. Well, out of the 1,300, only 700 people were given any treatment at all. The other 600 were just for bants. Number 2 is the annoying Agent Orange. So during the Vietnam War, the US military sprayed over 20 million gallons of a dioxin-laced herbicide called Agent Orange. The main manufacturer was a company named Monsanto. Monsanto's own scientists knew that dioxin caused cancer, and its company leaders were actively hiding that information so they could protect their nice, juicy government contracts.
Dude sprayed a chemical over
There
the
really is
fucking
some sick
forest,
fucks
over
behind the
some wood,
wheel.
over a fight.
Yeah, bro. We've barely scratched the surface.
Number 1 is the American tobacco industry. By 1950, all the big players in tobacco knew 2 things. 1, that smoking caused cancer, and 2, that nicotine was addictive. So they secretly funded fake counter-studies by paying corrupt scientists that basically said cigarettes were healthy and didn't give you cancer, and made you f***ing cool. The CEOs of the 7 largest tobacco companies appeared before Congress. They were asked one by one, do you believe that nicotine is addictive? And one by one, all 7 said no. And in 1998, the Master Settlement Agreement extracted $246 billion from the tobacco industry, which in the UK could buy you 1 pouch of amber leaf. But here's the part that should make you really angry. The most damaging internal documents, the ones that proved they knew exactly what they were doing, are sealed under attorney-client privileges until 2098, when I will be dead.
That's crazy. I shouldn't be allowed to do that.
You left out MK Ultra, bro.
The CIA created Charles Manson, and they used him to change the culture. Manson had been in and out of prison for more than half of his life. He was so institutionalized that he once begged to stay in prison. Then in 1967, the Summer of Love, a 32-year-old Manson found himself in Haight-Ashbury, the epicenter of the hippie movement and ground zero for an MKUltra project headed up by Jolly West, a psychiatrist that specialized in mind control and hypnosis. He also once killed an elephant by shooting it with a dart full of LSD, with the equivalent of 3,000 strong human doses. So of course Jolly was recruited by the CIA to build a fake hippie crash pad to observe and experiment on hippies. They were sourcing their human lab rats from the Haight-Ashbury Free Clinic, somewhere that Charles Manson would frequent. It's believed that he was one of the subjects of experiments centered around LSD-based control, sleep deprivation, and psychological torture. Then Charles Manson spent the next 2 years amassing a cult following using these exact tactics.
We gotta do the MK Ultra deep dive, bro.
We could do a whole episode on Charles Manson.
Manson begins collecting female followers one at a time using LSD-based control. Each new follower helps him recruit the next one. Manson's following would come to be known as the family. One day he takes 20 followers, loads them onto an old school bus, and heads south to Spawn Ranch, just outside of Los Angeles. Now completely isolated, Manson continued dosing them, giving them nightly sermons, and orchestrating groups. At this time, Manson and the family seemed to operate with complete immunity from the law. In 1969, he was arrested 6 times. Weapons charges, grand theft auto, credit card fraud, and released every time. All this time, Manson was on federal parole, the strictest supervision possible. Back in San Francisco, his parole officer was Roger Smith, who dropped his caseload from 40 parolees down to 1, just Manson. To make things even weirder, Roger Smith had taken legal guardianship of Charles Manson's son. By now, Manson had stripped away the identity of all of his followers. They hung on his every word, and his ideology became more and more unhinged.
It's mad they just kept letting him out.
They wanted to stop the hippie movement, bro.
The Beatles had just released the White Album, and Manson thought they were sending him coded messages in the music. The Helter-Skelter ideology was born, a prophecy of an apocalyptic race war, which led to the most infamous string of murders of all time. 8.5-month pregnant movie star Sharon Tate and 4 others were at home when 3 members of the family broke in. Within minutes, they kill everyone inside and write "pig" on the front door in Sharon's blood. The following night, the family goes out to murder again, and this time Manson goes with them. They break into a couple's home and brutally murder them, writing messages on the walls in their blood and even carving the word war into one of the victims' stomachs. Manson was arrested a few months later. The theory goes the CIA used Manson and the family to carry out these unspeakable acts. This explains how Manson was able to operate with such leniency from the federal government, and how a barely literate ex-con suddenly mastered mind control. The CIA wanted to use these atrocities to delegitimize the counterculture, and these murders marked the end of the hippie movement.
Hippies were against war, right? They couldn't let that spread.
They'll go to any lengths when it comes to controlling the masses.
They got money and time. Shit.
Did you know that it is possible that we are living in the year 1728 instead of 2025? Now, this is a very interesting theory called the phantom time hypothesis, where it suggests that 300 years of history never actually took place. In the
I mean, not that it is a right date, time, whatever fucking these dudes come up with all these damn dates and shit, but I'm just like what if it's like they just actually just changed, it's not, I don't know. Maybe I'm saying it wrong, but I was thinking about that, how they did, it's probably not even the year that they're saying it is. Maybe it's something else.
1990s,
Once they started recording history, that's recording the time. I mean, the years.
Historian named Herbert Illig came up with this theory, suggesting that the Roman Emperor Otto III and Pope Sylvester II altered the calendar to be the year 1000, purely because it sounded more significant. This would be like a coffee shop opening up last year and changing its sign to say, serving coffee since 1967, versus serving coffee since yesterday. It just sounds better. Anyways, let's look at the evidence. Up until the year 614, the Roman Empire was still around, and we have tons of records of war, leaders, daily life. They built major cities, aqueducts, and advanced technology, like inventing concrete, road networks, even paper. And then, after the year 911, we have lots of books and documents around medieval Europe. People were inventing mechanical clocks, windmills, better farming tools. But between those years, there's almost nothing. No big advancements, no major discoveries, virtually no change in population, very few written records. This is why this time is often referred to as the Dark Ages, because we literally don't know too much of what actually took place. So did just nothing happen for 300 years? Well, let's look at architecture. In the 600s, the Byzantine architecture was very popular. It had these big domed roofs, golden mosaics, and highly decorated interiors. Now, if you look at the Roman-esque architecture, which was popular in the 900s, they have a relatively similar build. Large fortress-like buildings with thick walls and stone carvings. If 300 years did pass by, wouldn't we see a bigger difference in architecture, suggesting that buildings like these were actually built closer together and not 300 years apart?
Bruh, all of history's...
I don't fucking know, man.
Lie.
History is written by the victors of war.
Back in those years, the calendar wasn't as solidified as it is today. In fact, they had 7 major calendars being used at the time, all of which would track time differently. So it is very possible that time was added or removed in this time frame. It happened, and more than once. Let's look at what took place just before the Dark Ages happened. In the year 476, the Western Roman Empire collapsed. It was a system that daily life lived off of, and it was very structured. They had scribes, historians, and libraries to keep things documented. Roman officials wrote down everything: laws, taxes, military movements, even trade records. They even had a postal system to spread news around Europe. It was operating similar to how society operates today. There was law and there was order. But when it collapsed, absolute chaos ensued. The people started looking around going, hold on. Why are we following these laws if there's no government to enforce them? This type of thinking caused Europe to go into consistent war with each other. The former Roman lands were then split up into these small mini kingdoms everywhere, ruled by warlords. Vikings and Muslim armies started raiding towns and burning down cities. It was the definition of lawless. Vikings would raid monasteries. This is where records were kept. They would start burning books and burning down libraries. So if there were any records at the time, they were likely destroyed in one of these many wars that took place. Because of this way of living, the Dark Ages became a time of survival and not progress. People didn't have the time to write things down. They were too busy trying not to die.
We'll never know our true history, bro.
It's because there's always 2 sides. Only one makes it into the textbooks.
education stopped, so people gradually started to forget the Roman knowledge. In fact, the concrete that the Romans invented was lost for almost 1,000 years because nobody remembered how to make it. All of the trade roads became destroyed over time because nobody knew how to fix them, which meant people never left their small villages. They never did the long treks to share information across Europe, so any records that were there were extremely localized and not even written down. Around the same time of the collapse, the Justinian plague took place, wiping out almost 50% of Europe. And a lot of the people that got wiped out were educated people, the ones that knew how to read and write and actually take things down. Fewer educated people meant less books and less records. The Catholic Church then became very dominant in Europe at this time, and instead of writing down history, they decided to copy religious text, completely ignoring science and history and focusing on religious teachings. So, was 300 years in Europe completely wiped out just by a simple calendar change? No, it was literally just Europe going through a massive reset due to the fall of structure. There is plenty of evidence that the rest of the world actually was thriving at this time. China was in the midst of the Tang Dynasty, an era that is one of the most documented in Chinese history. Astronomical records were kept, and they all aligned. The Islamic Golden Age was absolutely thriving during this time. The Mayans kept stone carvings of historical events, and they weren't even connected to Europe at all. So all in all, the 300 years definitely happened. It was Europe that was struggling, not the rest of the world.
It's medieval idiocracy, bro.
Yeah, and now history is going to be written by whoever controls AI.
The New York Times asked Elon Musk's chatbot a simple question. What's the biggest threat to Western civilization? Grok answered misinformation and disinformation. Musk called that answer idiotic on X and said he'd fix it overnight. The next morning, Grok had a new answer, falling fertility rates, one of Musk's own long-standing personal obsessions. Musk says Grok is maximally truth-seeking and politically neutral. That's the lie. Here's what's actually being put into it. Since 2023, an NBC News study found Musk has spent money boosting far-right political movements in at least 18 countries across 6 continents. Now ask yourself, whose beliefs do you think Grok reflects? Someone asks Grok if their chest pain is serious. A parent asks it what's true about the election. If one man can change his answers overnight based on his own mood, those answers depend on what upset him that morning, not on what's actually true.
We're fucked, bro.
Yeah, and they're going to use it in the military. Yo, what's good? We're trying to hit 250k subscribers. We're giving away a free piece of merch at the end of every episode. All you gotta do to win is leave a comment on this video and be subscribed. Let's get back to the show.
That's cool.
The Anti-Defamation League, a group that tracks hate speech and anti-Semitism, tested 6 major AI chatbots on how well they push back against extremist content. Grok ranked dead last. None of that stopped the government from embracing it. In January 2026, the Pentagon said Grok would be added to military networks, including classified systems, specifically because it would run, in the Defense Secretary's own words, without ideological constraints and will not be woke. Not the best system, the most obedient one. And it came from the same billionaire who spent hundreds of millions of dollars getting this administration elected. Grokopedia, Musk's AI-built rival to Wikipedia, was suggested and named by David Sachs. One man's personal grudges rewritten into an AI's answers overnight. Put into your car, put inside the military, same network, same playbook. Control the platform, control what it says, and skip asking anyone's permission. That's not artificial intelligence. That's one man's opinion running at scale, and it's already shaping what your family believes.
It is a biblical urban legend that Lucifer was the angel of music in heaven. Many people claim that Lucifer was the head of the choir in heaven, responsible for creating the music and worship of God. While the Bible never truly indicates that Lucifer was the
motherfuckers, I didn't even know. I probably heard that, but I didn't. It didn't stick in my head. But that's funny that they're saying that. They're saying right here that the reason why music is the devil's work is because they said Lucifer was head of the choir in heaven, so it makes sense that the reason why we have music is because Lucifer introduced us, so he is in control of it. Like, get the fuck out of here, dog. Or something else.
angel of music. This is a myth that seems to be true.
Yeah, and it doesn't say that nowheres in the book. It doesn't say that nowheres. It's just that people are upset that people are getting attention because of whatever that thing they're doing, and they're like, this is blasphemy. I'm scared and I don't know what this is. Let's just put it on the devil. And yeah, the devil wasn't running because he was in a choir. And
as the music industry clearly points to serving Lucifer, the music industry doesn't hide its admiration for the devil. While most people call this satanic imagery edgy and just done for shock value, this former rapper confirms this isn't the case, admitting that at one point he was actively serving Lucifer with his music. Hey guys, I hope all is well. Welcome back to The Truth Is, where I drop new videos every other day exposing the truth. In today's episode, we will be talking about the ex-rapper who exposed his former pact with the devil. Let's get right into it. Most people think the thought of artists selling their souls is ridiculous. They call it conspiracy theory nonsense, as most people nowadays don't believe in the devil, let alone selling your soul. When they see people calling out artists using satanic imagery, they brush it off as shock value, claiming the artist is only using that satanic imagery to cause controversy and garner attention. The thing is, the greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he doesn't exist. The devil doesn't want the masses to believe in his existence, as doubting his existence only makes it easier for him to misguide you. This is exactly why so many people are lost today, as they embrace sin and evil just as Lucifer wants them to, because they don't believe in God nor the devil. The devil loves helping you destroy yourself. He encourages you to do it. He rewards those who promote his ideology through their music with fortune and fame. Using those artists...
And as he's, I don't know if he's real about it, he's just doing work probably, but as he's saying that, he's playing music in the background.
to spread his ideas of self-worship that have been corrupting man since the days in the garden. Lucifer depends on those who serve him.
I sold my soul to myself to take whatever that was
and sell their souls to push his agenda. He works through them to influence you.
I'm just like, I don't think Travis Scott influenced this idea, which I'll be surprised if he did. You know what I'm saying? I'll be surprised if Travis Scott was like, hey, I want a satanic pentagram right here in the middle of the floor in Coke. You see what I'm saying? I don't know, man. I don't know, man. I just don't see that. Like, I believe it's like these directors and these what do you call them that orchestrate the set designing, you know what I'm saying, that are doing this intentionally to push an agenda, you know what I'm saying? But it has nothing to do with, oh, they're satanically causing spells. No, they're showing us that, you see, Travis Scott is saying that, you see the symbol is okay. See, it's okay. Get away from God, not believe in God. Don't worry, there is no God. Now we're going to do this other stuff. Start learning to be in control and listen to what the government tells you. Listen to what math tells you. Listen to what science tells you. You see what I'm saying?
Worship yourself.
Like Trippie Red, Little Uzi, and maybe Juicy World, yeah. If they were like, I'm like, yeah. When I see them doing that shit, I'm like, yeah, those guys, yeah. You see what I'm saying? I believe they're like, yeah, I want this in my video with the devil Lucifer. You see what I'm saying? But I don't believe that Travis. I don't believe a lot of these videos are conducted by the artists themselves.
Just like he wants you to. These artists that know the truth about this spiritual world we live in already know that in order to become a star, you must serve Lucifer. That's why these artists involve themselves with the occult and Satanism. This is how they learn to channel these deities in order to bargain with them and use them to get what they want. Since the beginning of the music industry, we have heard of the tales of artists selling their souls. I know many of you have heard of the story of Robert Johnson, the blues musician from the 1930s, who was rumored to have sold his soul to the devil on the crossroads. The story goes, Robert wanted to be a music star since he was a young man, but unfortunately for him, he wasn't any good at making music. He tried playing his guitar for anyone who would listen, but he was horrible, and nobody wanted to hear him play. This led Robert to the crossroads in Mississippi, where he met a mysterious tall man who was willing to help him for a price. This mysterious man told Robert he can make him the blues star he dreamt of being, for a small price of course. He wanted Robert's eternal soul. Johnson, desperate to make it, took the deal, giving this mysterious man his guitar, with the man tuning it, playing it, and returning it back to Robert. He then instructed Robert to play the guitar, and when he did, he went from an amateur player to a master guitarist instantly. The strange man then disappeared, and Robert would then end up becoming a blues star. He would play his guitar for those who mocked him before, showing them his new skills. These people were left shocked, as Robert somehow went from an amateur to a master overnight. He quickly became famous in his town and in surrounding towns for his new style of blues. People couldn't get enough of his mesmerizing music. Some people were left suspicious of his new skills, as they knew he was known to go to the crossroads at midnight. Robert wouldn't get to enjoy his fame for long, as not long after he made that deal, he passed away in a mysterious way that was never solved. People in the town Johnson was from believed that he didn't pass away, but he was taken away. His soul was collected by the tall, mysterious man he sold his soul to for those guitar skills. While most people see this as an urban legend, this is the truth about fame. To this day, artists are selling their souls to the devil in order to be rewarded with fame and fortune. And this is exactly what Dennis Stevenson admitted, who was once a rapper that went by the name Wop with the Plays. A couple of weeks back, Dennis did an interview with the creator Corey Yeshua, where he revealed that while he was trying to make it in the music industry, he aligned himself with the devil, openly choosing to serve the deity Baphomet in order to become successful. During those days, Dennis managed to perform with some big artists who were also serving the devil, making songs with artists like Little Tracy and performing alongside Cardi B and others. Dennis admits he chose to serve Baphomet and dedicate his music to pushing his agenda.
I was called King Extortion.
You signed a deal with Satan in order to be in his kingdom, and you were going to be used in music just as a tool in order to gather souls.
I got initiated was when I seen Baphomet. This was before everything takes off. Satan is not going to let you take off unless he initiates you. Now after this happened, I was extortion man 666. Now I have a tattoo extortion on my forehead. I fully embraced the darkness, and I just thought it was just music. I just thought, okay, maybe it's just music. It was more than music.
As a very special testimony that I believe is going to touch many lives.
Dennis Stevenson, definitely raised in Miami. I was in a car, young, rapping the DMX. I put Young Jeezy on, he put Lil Wayne on.
You were influenced by that kind of music. I try to tell people how powerful music is. Not only did I grow up listening to certain kind of music and it put me in certain kind of moods and made me want to do certain things, but I also did music and was in the music industry for years. So I know the impact that it has on people. People don't understand that there's spirits in this music and attached to this music, and a lot of people get into things behind the scenes that they put into the music, and the enemy uses the music.
We're professional criminals.
So you guys were doing like breaking and entering.
I'm not proud of it, but yeah, most of us went to jail. I'm actually on the news trying to somebody. This is when my older brother passed away, and then that's when Satan began to put that trauma in my heart, and now I was fully possessed.
Music industry side, how far you went in that realm and the things you experienced.
This isn't the rock. They're fully open. All those demons were literally they had chains on me.
He was lost and committed to the enemy, states that God saved them and pulled them out of that dark world. Lucifer, Baphomet, whatever he calls himself, is no match for God. God can always get you out of everything and anything. People choose to live in disbelief that this is going on, even when rappers are showing us this in their videos. So many music videos have this dark demonic imagery. Serpents and rituals, or the literal devil, are all placed in these music videos. These artists openly worship the devil, and people pretend not to see it. For example, Lil Uzi Vert, one of the biggest artists of the last 8 years, has had satanic imagery since the start of his career, using satanic occult imagery in many of his videos and songs. Even though Uzi wears inverted crosses and other anti-Christian symbols, most people don't believe he's really worshiping the devil. They think he does all that stuff for attention, even when Uzi admits he sold his soul and is out here taking his fans to hell. I know you guys remember this clip of Uzi straight up telling his fans at his concert that they were all going to a burning end with him, or when he told his fans he sold his soul to the devil.
Hold on, let me explain something to them real quick. Before everybody starts screaming and saying, oh, like I told y'all earlier, you motherfuckers enter the rapture. And if ain't nobody flying up to heaven right now, obviously all y'all motherfuckers going to hell. Right with me. So, let's get it.
Did I sell my soul? I sold my soul for you. Y'all coming right with me, you dummies.
Even with rappers like Lil Uzi straight up confessing to serving the devil, people still deny it. They act like it doesn't exist. It wasn't just Lil Uzi that admits this either, as a former Irish pop star, Shane Lynch, admitted the same thing, admitting that the mainstream music industry serves the devil.
Our side of the Ouija boards, seances, all that kind of spiritual tarot card reading, all that stuff, or demon, or everything.
What those were and
as these rappers that are
get into all that, no matter what I blame God for doing, you know, I hated God for what he did, but as it came to the 666, I don't think I hate him that much, but I did it because it was money. And so, you know, you could, I even had the satanic books, the little warlock materials, you know, every warlock gotta have a dagger.
Oh, she got the horse for the plowers. That's right. The horse is to plow the dirt.
Hello everyone, how you doing? You alright? We've spent a lot of time on this channel looking at individual lolcows, the meltdowns, the delusions, the spectacular failures. But today we're asking something different. What actually makes a lolcow? The internet is full of strange people, but not all of them qualify. To be a true lolcow, you need to tick some very specific boxes, and we will be looking at 7 of them. The further down the list we go, the more you'll start to understand why these people end up stuck in the same never-ending loop over and over again forever. Let's start with level 1. Interesting. Unintentional comedy is the purest form of internet infamy and is what puts the lol in lolcow. It's not built on malicious or manufactured drama. Instead, it is birthed from a fundamental clash between the person's perceived reality and the reality that the rest of us live in. The secret ingredient to this recipe is sincerity. The more the person tries to be truly impressive, cool, authoritative, or show a talent, the more spectacular failure itself becomes the entertainment. If the creator is in on the joke, then it just becomes a comedy skit, which of course can be entertaining, but exists on a different plane from what we are looking at today. This can take many forms, such as proudly showing off skills on a musical instrument, using professional language to talk about subjects that they have no real knowledge of, or showcasing their super sick editing skills to impress the viewers. We see the blueprint for this trait from the early days of the Chris Chan story. Long before the molesting of mothers and the dark times, there was a more innocent era where people were discovering sonotube comics and medallions. Chris would put on performances that he thought were genuinely brilliant, and anyone that thought differently were just haters being jealous. Another less well-known example of this trait is the Church of Gail. She is a lady that embodies an often accompanying characteristic, an inflated sense of self-importance. It's hard to know where to start with her story, but she believes that the world leaders and celebrities are in a supernatural literal battle for her hand in marriage, and that she is some kind of religious figure exposing a global conspiracy by the Jesuits. Her unshakable ego exists in a complete fantasy land, and because she is 100% serious with her claims, it is unintentionally hilarious. Like the time that she thought that the Jesuits were launching a nuclear semen bomb against Canada.
We have an emergency. The Jesuits are about to launch a nuclear bomb that has semen in it that will infect everyone. We need our scientists all over the world to help us stop this bomb. And also, it's going to be like Jesuit bukkake and a nuclear bomb, and it's headed towards Canada, where Judge Terrence Jenkins is right now. Any scientists out there that can help us stop this bomb or come up with some sort of spermicide that will counter all the germs that are going to come out of this bomb.
Unfortunately, the creamy bomb did land in Canada.
I have a very sad video to make today. The Canadian nation has been hit with this bukkake bomb. I'm going to read a letter that I got from Brent Spiner, dated December the 21st, 2011, 1:10 a.m. My dear wife, I am writing to you from the Canadian International Hospital, where I sit in quarantine, zipped inside a dreadfully squeaky white hazmat suit. These suits actually look like the space suits we used on the set of Star Trek. So at the very least, I know I look cute in them.
A crowd of kids, basically teenage boys, look like late high school, early college.
Yeah.
One black dude, bunch of whites. He's like, "You good?" He's like, "You all right?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "You sure?" He's like, "You got a ride home? You got your phone on you?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "If you sitting here with all these white boys, you seen what happened in those wells."
Damn.
And all the white boys like, "Oh shit!"
Damn.
One of them like, "Nah, get out of here with that." He's like, "Nah, I'm for real."
Yeah.
I got y'all on camera too.
Yeah. Damn.
This one. You gotta check on our people, baby. Hey, bro, you good? You sure? You got to ride back home? Okay, you see what happened to the well? I got all y'all laughing. Ain't nobody leaving, huh? You sure you got to ride, bro? You got your phone with you?
He entertaining this shit. Yeah, but still, it is true though. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, fuck, dude, let me keep an eye on this shit, but it's like, bro, come on, bro, you playing around and shit, and you don't entertain shit. Entertaining don't liberate. But anyways, it wasn't say, yeah, he probably put them on point. Shit, they probably like, huh?
No, what you gonna say?
No, I was gonna say he probably put him on point though. Like, damn, man, he was about to do it too, though. We were about to do it too. Never mind. Yeah, he got it. You have to go a little further than this. Yeah. I knew he was playing around, but you know, I know he knows he means something from it too. But it's like, hey, you want to help us out, bro? You want to help people? All right. Let's go ahead and get off this phone. Let's get off these internet. Let's see what's talk about these foods. Oh, no. I wasn't talking about that. I'm about to go to this football game right now. I can't see.
What I am writing you is a first-hand account of the horrible bombing that took place today. All of Canada has been bukkake.
Yeah, I'll be pissed.
I cannot describe to you the smell.
Homeboy, ain't like that shit. What? They know what it is too. They know what it is. Yeah, let's just laugh it off so we can all just. And that's what's gonna happen again. You gonna kill him? No, I thought you were gonna say something. I thought I'm about to cut you off. All right.
You'll be pleased to know that the Church of Gale did launch a robot counterattack in the Great Jesuit War, scoring a point for the side of truth and goodness.
I just want to report some good news. We've been getting a lot of scientists that have responded to the last video I made about how to break the Jesuit shield, and we were able to break it enough that we were able to transport Hugh Jackman and my mother out of the Jesuit military compound. We had a tough battle, though. Some of the robots that Hugh Jackman created were fighting a 2 million people Jesuit army, and we were greatly outnumbered. But one robot killed about 200,000 or 300,000 Jesuits. And that robot is going to be given the Medal of Honor by Barack Obama.
There are many more people that'll be.
No, I can't even give that like crazy no more. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, she crazy. Nah, she want attention. That's what she doing. She saying these dumbass things. Talking about I forgot what she was talking about, but she just saying all kinds of fucking bullshit. Like, come on now.
Could include in this level, such as Viper the rapper with his hundreds of poorly made albums and low budget green screen music videos. But for me at least, the person that most perfectly personifies this trait would be the gothic bad boy himself, King Cobra JFS. Whether it was him truly believing that he was a powerful wizard, a rock star villain, showing us his skills as a ventriloquist, or teaching us all how to cook.
I would just dump these in here, but I don't want the grease to splatter, so...
What's his name? That fucking
the next step is just...
That should be him, number one.
It's just drop them in there like that. Yeah, fuck it.
Oh, that water's so green. It's like dirty greasy.
God damn it! Stop!
From insane drinks combos to making it very, very clear that a potential mate would need to be of age and alive. The viewer was invited to watch his tragically short life and enjoy the unfolding, unintentional comedy along the way.
It's a lot cheaper and a lot better for your hair than doing it in the salon. I guarantee you that. Well, truth be told, I don't have to get in the shower and get completely naked. I can just rinse my hair out underneath the shower head. So, oh yeah, I got it all over my head. Yeah, it's a chick product, but you know what? I don't care. Yeah, the back of my neck is soaked in the shit. Oh, that's lovely. That's just freaking lovely. Yeah, I'm just making an ass of myself now. For you, YouTube Entertainment, no less. God damn it. This is why you want to put a towel on before you do this shit, people. This is the back of my hair. And you can take time to do your eyebrows too if you want.
He put on his mustache. He's something else.
My mustache too. Oh yeah. Why so serious?
The serious clown level is often what hooks people at the start, but to find out what really makes a lolcow, we need to dive deeper into what really makes these people tick. So let's move on to level 2.
Get yourself some tactical soap, and you too can smell as sexy as I do.
That was level 2. And they have Phil at level 9, so that's the highest one.
At level 2, we leave behind the world of innocent incompetence and enter the realm of aggressive delusion. From cringe comedy where the viewer laughs at the performance, to a baffling display of arrogance where they are actually the best in the world.
Low cal levels or whatever. He's got Cobra at level 2 and he's got DSP at level 9.
For what?
For like the 7 levels. Okay, he's at 7, I guess. I don't know, but he said 9. I mean, he had a 9. But when he first started, I seen the video where it had like different levels, and they had like Cobra on 2, and he just went through Cobra right now, saying Cobra was like number 2, and I was like, wouldn't Chris Chan be like level number 1? I was like, fuck. But so that's not right. I think he's going up and up more, and if he's going up and up more, then he has Phil at the top above fucking most of the. I was like, damn.
Everybody else is incorrect. If level 1 is about feeling good, then level 2 is about refusing to be wrong and holding up an ego shield so thick that reality can't get through. This lack of self-awareness is the wall between who they are and who they think they are. A mental defense mechanism used to protect a fragile ego, and it is the fuel on the fire that keeps them posting to the internet. Without the shield, most people would realize the situation, get embarrassed and log off. But whereas most people see social shame, the lolcow sees haters who are jealous, and a world that is unfair for making them face the consequences of their own actions. An example of this would be Brendan Schwab, a former UFC fighter turned stand-up comedian. He has been one of the most mocked figures in the industry by lolcow enjoyers, other comedians, and even his podcast co-hosts. He will tell tall tales where he is the hero or the smartest man in the room, despite it being painfully clear to everyone that he is not the smartest tool in the shed.
Yeah, but wait a minute. He's not supposed to be taking anything. You're talking about a guy who's already lost his ability to make a living from Mexican pills. Like, why would he ever just take something off the shelf at GNC?
Well, we're not giving the guy kudos because he's the smartest tool in the shed.
Sharpest.
Sharpest tool
what
in
I
the
say.
shed.
Smartest tool in the shed.
Well, tools are smart too. Those are heavy claims, but obviously you shoot for the moon.
They're going on Brandon Shaw's fucking words or whatever. He said, he's not the smartest tool in the shed, right? Fucking Brandon Shaw. He's like, hey, come on, man. He's not the smartest tool in the shed, all right? He's like, it's the sharpest.
It's his ability to make a living from Mexican
I was like, wait a
pills.
minute.
Like, why would he ever just take something
Right.
off the shelf at GNC?
Well, we're not giving the guy kudos because he's the smartest tool in the shed.
Sharpest.
Sharpest. That's what I say.
Smartest tool in the shed.
Well, tools are smart too. Those are heavy claims, but obviously you shoot for the moon and hopefully you land somewhere on the stars. And easy peasy lemon easy.
And were your kids born in the States or Ecuador?
The first two in Ecuador, my last daughter here.
And I'm sure they were young when they were born in Ecuador.
Brendan's comedy specials are widely regarded as some of the worst that have ever existed, but still he will lecture the world on comedy with total confidence, completely lacking the self-awareness to realise that he is only making comedy specials due to his friendship with Joe Rogan. Another prime example of this trait would be the man, the myth, the legend, Steven Seagal. He is an overweight, deadly special forces, Jewish, Mongolian, Russian, Italian, part-time African-American, peace-loving Buddhist super soldier who has done everything that you have done, only better. If you have been to Tenerife, he has been to 11erife. Stephen truly believes that he is some kind of untouchable martial arts master, so he holds Aikido demonstrations where he barely moves a muscle while his students perform dramatic flips and flops, as if being defeated by the sheer magnetism of the great Steven Seagal. The perfect personification of this trait for me would be the invincible goat himself, Charlie Zelenoff, a man that pushes reality to its breaking point. He truly thinks that he is the best boxer of all time, with a delusional fight record that sees him with hundreds of wins under his belt with no losses. The overwhelming majority of his wins come from him going to gyms and asking someone who is working out if they want a light sparring match. He then tries his hardest to knock them out in the first few seconds, with his victims normally being shocked and just giving up as they didn't want to fight him in the first place.
Here? More space over here?
Okay. So what are we doing here? Boxing. Just straight boxing? Yeah. Like real boxing? Oh, hold on. Hey, what are you doing? Oh, dude, what are you doing, man?
Another way that he gains boxing victories is to just punch random people like pizza delivery men and shut the door on them before they can react. After each win, I did air quotes there, he will scream that he is still the champ and add another mark onto his win record. Even though he claims to have never been beaten, he has in fact had the tables turned on him many times, but will always find some bizarre little fact as to why he actually won the fight. The mental gymnastics that he performs are really quite something to behold, with his lack of self-awareness being staggering and his delusions of greatness being the only thing propelling him forward in what would otherwise be a bleak and pathetic existence. And on that cheery note, let's graduate to level 3.
Best boxer ever, man. The longest winning streak ever, even if I did lose. Longest winning streak ever. Yeah, but I'm Charlie Zelenoff, man. I don't have draws, man. All my fights are easy wins, man.
Welcome to level 3, the never-ending fight with trolls. This is where the lolcow enters into a war that they can never win, and to be honest it's unclear if they actually do want to win, as most of the time without the constant conflict with online detractors a lot of lolcow's lives would be empty wastelands. This level is a self-perpetuating saga where the lolcow spends 90% of their time addressing rumours or screaming at a single mean comment made by someone with a username like Horny Satan 666. This level can really make or break a lolcow, as it is what hands the story over to the trolls, who then holds the remote control to their lives. If the troll community built up around the lolcow lack imagination or a sense of humour, then the story becomes dry and played out, or just plain vindictive. But if the power is wielded wisely, then the sky's the limit with how much entertainment can be milked from the situation. It's always important to remember that this stage is a choice for the lolcow, where it can be reversed whenever they want, but they never will, as they have incredibly thin skin and a compulsive need to own faceless strangers on the internet. Of course, there are many examples of this trait to be found on the internet, with one of the most extreme being Dragon Lord. He is a man that, despite being harassed for years and having every aspect of his life ruined, just couldn't stop trying to own the trolls. From giving out his home address and asking the trolls to come and fight him, to having his home bulldozed. His inability to just ignore what people say online drove him past the brink of insanity and into the open arms of the haters, who were more than happy to milk him for every drop. Another person that just can't disregard the words of people that hate him is Wings of Redemption, who is famous for allowing his trolls to dictate his life. He will browse his own hate forums live on camera and let one mean comment ruin his mood to the point of rage quitting, never self-reflecting that his explosive reactions are the very thing that keeps people trolling him.
Look here! Look, listen!
Listen.
Appearing offline does not fucking stop it, so stop giving fucking advice you know nothing about.
Then we have Low Tier God, who has built a brand on how much he takes trolling to heart, with him celebrating the enormous amount of people that he bans each month, or him going on long rants while he's shaking with anger talking to his trolls. For me at least, the winner of the award for the person that embodies this trait the most would have to go to Cyrax. He is the archetype of feeding the trolls. A man who has been in a never-ending feedback loop for years of him screaming and shouting at people on the internet, then being done with the trolls and the internet only for him to reappear a short time later and start the cycle all over again. His uncontrollable desire to one day defeat the trolls leads him into fake court cases, fake record deals, fake girlfriends, being arrested, and a continuous lifetime of screaming at his computer. One of the funniest times that his desire to own the trolls once again came to dominate his life was when trolls pretended that Cyrax had died, so he spent hours and hours trying to convince them on a live stream that he was actually alive, and it was them that was stupid for not believing that he was alive.
So what's this in here about me being dead? Clearly I'm alive. Clearly.
What the?
Wait,
Whoa.
dude, I've been alive this whole time, bro. I've just been away from YouTube, living my normal life.
Well, the interesting thing is that Cyrax didn't say anything confirming today's date.
All right, so let me ask you this, dumbass. Okay. If I was really dead and this is really pre-recorded, why am I holding this, doing this, and why the f*** can I do this?
He's going to prove to them that he's not pre-recorded.
No,
He's arguing with them that it's pre-recorded.
like
He's still arguing with them that it's not.
Before.
Like, this is not a pre-recorded.
Wow, that's up.
Like, come on, man.
Somebody in the chat was saying this was like one of those clips that was playing before a fight with Schmeckel, and it did seem kind of familiar.
You guys really are f***ing pathetic, ain't you? For real. Oh, and if you want to know the date, it's March 12th, 2022, motherfucker. So yeah, clearly I'm alive. If I wasn't, I couldn't walk out of frame. Walk in the frame.
Can you
take a drink of this?
Sure you could.
See, I'm alive, you f***ing retard motherfucker. This is not pre-recorded.
This just feels eerily more of the same.
Oh, and if you guys would like further proof, as to the fact that I'm not pre-recorded, the current time is March 12th, 2022, 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That should be proof enough for your dumbass, Marty.
It's like some kind of promotional tool, like a robot AI. That's cool. I bet it's like you feed the old videos into it and it just like plays it out.
You're so stupid, I swear. Like, dude, you couldn't even hit the broadside of a fucking barn. You're that fucking ignorant. God damn. Like, what the fuck, dude?
You're that ignorant.
Oh, and by the way, Marty, as for the score, 67-48. Houston won. There's your fucking score. Clearly, I'm alive. Grabbing a card. Grabbing a Hot Wheels car setup. Grabbing my visor. Grabbing clothes.
As everyone
clearly, I'm alive, idiots.
It wasn't 61 or 67-48.
Oh, I know that was the one from before, but still,
Oh,
Marty,
wow.
Marty, as I said, a score don't
caught
mean
it.
jack shit, you idiot. Hell, matter of fact,
I am
matter of fucking
95% sure.
This is spooky shit. You're right.
If I wasn't alive, then how could I be waving this game box in front of you? Why am I waving one of my drawings in front of your face that I did last night, you idiot?
If you're alive, see, I was going to have another test to prove whether he's alive or not.
Every time you get a test that's going to work, it's gone.
At this point, Cyrex has allowed his detractors to become his entire existence, a grotesque puppet being moved by trolls for the entertainment of the internet. A strange parasitic relationship with both needing the other. But sadly, if Cyrex one day decided to leave the internet, the trolls could just find a new person to torment. Whereas if the trolls decided to one day leave Cyrex, he would have nothing left.
I have not done anything to you. If anything, I am trying to get away from you. I don't want anything to do with you, William, or any of you trolls.
Level 4 is all about oversharing, treating the public eye as some kind of confessional booth. This isn't just posting photos of what they had for lunch. This is a compulsive desire to broadcast every legally damaging, socially taboo, physically disgusting habit that they have and being proud of the fact. They will often film their most private moments or tell the viewers intimate details about their love life, seemingly not caring that not everything has to be shared with the world. Instead of calling a friend after a breakup, they go live and involve thousands of strangers in their private trauma. There are many reasons behind this, including an addiction to attention, a total lack of boundaries, and being lonely in real life, so the camera becomes their best friend, with engagement being interpreted as love. For the viewers, it turns them into voyeurs and allows them to judge themselves as better than the freaky soap opera that is the lolcow's life, which is a pretty low bar if we're honest. This relationship creates a symbiotic loop for the lolcow and their most dedicated detractors, with the lolcow seeking attention and the troll providing it for them. Let's face it, if a lolcow has a meltdown in the forest and no one is around to hear it, do they even make a sound? There are many examples of this, from Nick Avocado turning his life into a one-man reality show, to Boogie2988 treating the internet like a never-ending personal diary. But this can also take a more perverted form, such as Minnie Manson using his online platform to broadcast his every lust and fetish to people that I guess just really need to know that he gets off by holding in his urine until his bladder gets swollen and bloated. Valuable information to her that if she didn't upload her every move, then her haters would have nothing to hate, which leads us on nicely to level 5. At level 5, we have the inability to just log off of the internet. At this stage, the online world is no longer a platform, but a digital prison, with the lolcow's offline life being completely withered away, leaving them totally dependent on the very people that are destroying them. Well, I guess they're destroying themselves, but you know what I mean. The camera is no longer just a tool, but a life support machine, and to turn it off would be to cease to exist. The line between trolls and fans blur in their mind as to confront the truth that most people are only watching the car crash of their life would be to admit that they are nothing more than a modern freak show, debasing themselves in front of the world just for a few pennies. It is important to remember with this level that they could just log off of the internet and get a normal job like everybody else, but they choose not to, instead happy to sell their dignity in place of hard work. Ethan Ralph would be a good example to look at for this. He streams for hours and hours on end in a desperate attempt to get enough money from his haters so that he can survive. His streams often show him getting so wasted that he just falls asleep, him having meltdown after meltdown, or him degrading himself in every way imaginable. All this and he still barely makes enough money to get by, with him having to buy bot views on his Rumble channel just to show the trolls that he can make it without them. Or we could look at Cookie